Aisha, you are the mastermind behind this show. So and yeah, there's
crew.
Yeah. with
Yes, it is. And I have a phenomenal cast with me. I have two of my members with me today. Please introduce yourselves.
Jack Ledoux, Monica Mulder.
They are two of my actresses that are in the show.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about the show.
Absolutely. It was a project that started 7 years ago. I interviewed 9 women from the Coalition for the Homeless of Central Florida, and basically spoke to each one of these women for about an hour and a half, asking them their life story, asking how they got to where they ended up, which was at that coalition. And some of the stories I heard were just amazingly powerful, dealing with everything from, rape, religion, incest, drugs, alcoholism, everything you can imagine, to the point where you wouldn't even think that someone actually has lived and gone through this.
Right. Well, we do something at Orlando Fringe every year, and it's called a teaser show or preview, and yours was particularly powerful. It was I was saying to Doa, it was such fun, and it was good to laugh. But one of the things with Fringe this year in particular, there are some really heavy hitters and social commentary. We have hoodies coming on later, but your show is another one that part of the proceeds actually are going back to Coalition for the Homeless. So how did you said you interviewed. Was this something that was part of a study that you were doing, or were you actually looking to write a play about the homeless?
Yeah, it was actually my first master's degree. It was my thesis project.
Okay. And
I needed to come up with a way of, encompassing everything that I had studied in theater, and decided, why not? I'm from New York, and so I've dealt with homelessness all my life, all throughout Manhattan. And here in Orlando, I see it's pretty prevalent as well. And so the idea popped into my mind, and I said, I think this is the play. This is what I need to write about.
Okay, fantastic. So it is an original scripted drama. And what venue is it in?
It's at St. Matthew's Tavern.
St. Matthew's Tavern.
We're the off-site venue.
Yeah, we actually, Christian Kelty was actually showing you some love earlier.
And he's adorable, and I want to show him the same love back. And Sarah Jones, too. Please come out and support all 3 shows.
And it's down on Mills Avenue.
Yes.
So what else can you tell us about the show?
So much. 15% of all our ticket sales are going back to the Coalition, which is huge. So
Fantastic.
If we sell out every single night, please know that 15% of that money is going straight to the homeless for the cause that we're trying to empower even more. And we're also... Give me some help here, ladies.
The other thing is we will be taking donations. So if anyone wants to bring... diapers, flip-flops,
right.
Feminine hygiene products, school supplies for kids, anything like that, children's toiletries, we can make sure the Coalition gets them.
Okay, fantastic. I love that. A few years ago, we have our annual Christmas fundraiser, and we always donate back canned goods. We'll give money off for people who bring canned goods or an unwrapped toy at Christmas time, which seems that people always go above and beyond at the holiday season. And here's the whole thing. I don't know statistics. I don't pretend that I know statistics. But my other job, on top of being the executive director at the Fringe, I'm a social worker. I consult with the Department of Children and Family Agency for Persons with Disabilities. And I do know that in the summertime, 1 in 6 kids in Orlando go to bed hungry.
Yeah,
One
that's right.
in 6,
It's heartbreaking.
which is heartbreaking. And some kids don't eat balanced meals all summer. Their first well-balanced meal is when they go back to school in the fall. And it's that hot breakfast. And that's the first meal that they've had that's a square meal since the summer break. So, and a lot of these kids are homeless. The homelessness is very prevalent here in Central Florida, much more so, I think, in Osceola County than it is here in Orange County as far as families go, but individuals. And a lot of times, people that are homeless suffer from mental health issues. So,
and I know the city's doing a big project right now as well.
They are, and the mayor is actually one of the people that are on the billboards, and it's fantastic that it is something that the city is involved in. Because
speaking of which, we invited them to our show, and they're coming.
Fantastic.
They're
I
totally
think that's
in full
amazing.
support of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So they reached out and said yes, they're planning on attending, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
in fact, I sent out an email to everyone. I guess you just didn't see it. And then at preview, I was just like, I'm having this radio show, and it's missing something. And I went up to you, and I think I gave you a big hug, and I said, "Can you come on the radio show?" Because of all of the shows that I'm excited to see shows, but I'm not so excited to see the show as much more as I think people need to see this show. It's much more than excitement for me. I don't know if I said that right, but I think that this is something that people need to see because a lot of people are one paycheck away from being homeless.
Exactly.
It could be you, It could be you. There was a time, when I moved here from Boston, my landlord, I paid rent, but I didn't have enough money to buy groceries. I didn't have enough money I walked to work because I was waiting for my next paycheck. I wasn't eating, and my landlord, to this day, this is why I hate boiled ham, but bought me a pound of boiled ham and a loaf of bread, and that's what I ate for 2 weeks.
And that became dinner.
And that
breakfast and lunch.
Dinner, breakfast, and lunch. And I literally was a paycheck away from being homeless. And had I not had a job, I would have had to have, begged, stealed, and borrowed gas money to drive back to Boston because I moved here, and I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So
and it's kind of funny.
it could happen to anyone.
One of the pieces is actually called a paycheck, and it's just, she addresses exactly that.
And
where
it's true.
It fights all the stereotype that we have on homelessness, and just basically says it takes one paycheck. That's it.
Great.
Just
How
one.
many shows are you doing?
We're doing 7.
7 performances at St. Matthew's Tavern. Any last
Absolutely.
words?
Yeah.
The important thing we really wanted to get across is we're having a Q&A after every show, and a representative from the Coalition for the Homeless will be there, as well as the cast and crew to answer any questions and just open up the discussion, because that's kind of the main idea, is to have that dialogue and to have that understanding about homelessness.
Right. Well, thank you so much for, not only as an organization, I'm not saying thank you, but thank you from the city of Orlando, and thank you for the people that are going to be, unfortunately, sleeping under I-4 this evening, and the kids that are going to have to get up tomorrow and not be showered because, they're living under a bridge. And unfortunately, it's happening here in Orlando. So 15% of every ticket, if you make it out to any show, I encourage everyone to come out, and I'm going to play one of my favorite songs, "Imagine" by John Lennon. I think that kind of sums up a lot about this particular project.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.